discuss photosynthesis. So I know you guys have learned about photosynthesis before, and we've talked about it briefly in class this year. What would you say if you were to give your own definition? What is photosynthesis? Peter?
Plants taking in light to make food for...
Okay. Plants using light to make food. Okay, that's one way to say it. Although we're going to make our definition of photosynthesis a little more specific and a little more technically correct now. It's like when we talked about hypothesis and we changed the definition you've been using for years. So plants go through the process of photosynthesis, and it's not really wrong to say they make their own food, but we can now be more specific. Anyone know how we can be more specific? Tom?
They make glucose.
Yeah.
So
It's actually, so when we say plants make food, well, what does that really mean? They make, veggie burgers and fries? No. They make one specific molecule, and that's glucose. So photosynthesis is using the sun's energy to make glucose. And that's what plants use as their source of energy, as their fuel, basically, is glucose. So what we're going to do is we are going to learn the chemical equation for photosynthesis and respiration. In chemistry, a chemical equation tells you which molecules you start with in a chemical reaction and which molecules you end up with. That's a chemical equation. In fact, our next unit is going to be chemistry, and we'll learn more about those chemical reactions. But what we have here on your notes is a diagram showing the equation, and we're going to fill in these boxes. So we have 3 things before the arrow, okay, and 2 things after. And the arrow represents the actual chemical reaction, the molecules being rearranged. So what 3 things do you think are necessary for photosynthesis? 3 different things. Brian, what's one?
sunlight.
We need light. Brandon? We need carbon dioxide.
O2.
And no?
Oh, H2O.
And water. Okay? The other thing is we are now going to start to use, rather than words, we're going to use the chemical symbols for these compounds. So the chemical symbol for carbon dioxide? CO2. The chemical symbol for water? H2O. Now what do those symbols actually mean? So when we say CO2, why is that the symbol for carbon dioxide? It's telling us some information here.
1 carbon molecule and 2 oxygen.
Very close. I'm going to change one word that Peter said. You know what word I need to change? Rosemary? Molecule. What will I change it to? Yes, atom. So 1 carbon dioxide molecule is made of 1 carbon atom bonded to 2 oxygen atoms. That's what the formula tells us. H2O tells us 2 hydrogen atoms bonded to 1 oxygen atom to form a water molecule. Okay? So that's what we need. Now, one other thing I want to mention. So you see light here. Why is it written in a different type of enclosure? Matt?
Because it's really important to it, because if you don't have light, you can't make it.
That's a good idea, and it is important. Without light, this doesn't happen. Light provides the energy for photosynthesis. But that's actually not why it's in the little explosion box there. Julia? What's up? Yeah, it's not a compound. It's not matter. Okay? Generally, in a chemical equation like this, we only write molecules of matter. What is light? It's not matter.
They're like little waves.
Okay, it is a type of, not quite, energy. It's not a physical molecule, it's a type of energy. We classify everything in the universe as either matter or energy. Air is matter, your desk is matter, you are matter. But heat is energy. Light is energy. Sound is a type of energy. So they're not actually physical pieces of matter. So that's why it's a little bit different. Technically, it doesn't belong there. In a chemical equation, really all you have are the molecules that are reacting. Often light will be written here above the arrow because it's providing the energy for the reaction. But in this case, we have it here, and that's okay. You have a question, Brandon?
Does it have to be some light or
No, it can be artificial light as well. That's why we say just light. You know, you could grow, plants will go through photosynthesis using artificial light as well. All right, so light plus carbon dioxide plus water produces, a gift for me?
Yep.
Thank you. Favorite student of the day, Liam Evans, everybody.
You sure about that?
Yeah, fresh hot pizza, straight out of the oven.
I don't have.
Hey, sorry.
All
All right. Smells pretty good too. I'm gonna save that for next period. You made pizza last period, Tom? Oh, okay, thanks. All right. So we have light, carbon dioxide, and water. They go through this chemical reaction and produces two things. You could probably name the two things. What are they?
Glucose and oxygen.
Yes, oxygen and glucose. Now, before you write anything down, does anybody know the chemical symbol for oxygen?
Yes, I do. O2.
O2. It exists as two atoms bonded. How about glucose?
Geo.
I bet nobody knows glucose.
GO2.
No, there's no G at all. There's no element G. Tom?
XCY.
No. Let's think. Hold on. Let's think for a minute. What? If we have a chemical reaction taking place, it has to be made of which elements?
Hydrogen.
Is it like?
Can it have nitrogen in it?
No,
Why not?
because it's not in the.
What, Peter?
It's not in the compound.
Yeah, it's not here to begin with, so can't have nitrogen in it. It only has three things in it.
HCO2.
Okay, not quite, but it has hydrogen,
HCl.
carbon, and oxygen, just in a different proportion, right?
H2O2.
No?
Wait, is there a C?
There is a C in it.
CHO2?
No, but we're getting close. Because we have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, it's actually C6. H12O6 is the chemical symbol for glucose. C6H12O6. Yes.
We learned that last year.
C6H12O6, it's easy. The middle one is double the other two. 6 plus 6 equals 12. So you guys were on the right track. Now Peter was exactly right in saying it has to be the atoms that are used to create glucose, they have to be here in the sort of ingredients of the chemical formula. Okay? And so basically what this means is that you have carbon dioxide and water. Through this chemical reaction, they get split up into the pieces and recombine in different proportion to form glucose and oxygen. And that's what photosynthesis is. Two other things. When we talk about a chemical equation, the things on the left side of the arrow, the ingredients or the raw materials, we call those the reactants. The reactants of the equation. And then guess what we call the things on the right side of the arrow?
Salts.
No, but meaning the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
No.
The G atoms.
The things that are made, you might say, are the things that are, yeah, the products. They are the products of the equation. And so overall, the goal, the purpose, the point of photosynthesis is for plants to produce
Glucose.
glucose, which is what they use as their food.